Hi there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my Y'all Fest book haul. So if you are not familiar with what Y'all Fest is, it is a young adult book festival that takes place every single year in Charleston, South Carolina. But basically a lot of authors come and do signings, and publishers come and give away arcs of, upcoming releases. So it's always fun for me to go. And this year I came away with 10 advanced reader copies that I want to share with you guys. But I ended up having a great time, and I was going to vlog for you guys, but to be honest, because I didn't go to any panels and because I didn't go to any author signings, honestly, it was just a lot of footage of me standing in line trying to get arcs, and I just figured it wouldn't be very exciting for you guys. So it is a 2-day event, and it's always on a Friday and a Saturday, so I'm thinking next year of just taking a vacation day from school and going for Friday and Saturday. That way I can get you guys an actual vlog and get some, author signatures and meet some authors and things like that. But I still had a great time, and I do want to share all the books that I got with you guys, as well as the release date of them. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon, so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon. These books are in no particular order, but the first one is Stars and Smoke by Marie Lu. This is Marie Lu's newest upcoming release, and it's been described as the hating game meets Mission Impossible. First, we meet a character named Winter, and Winter is a pop phenomenon. He was a backup dancer, but he has become kind of like his own star in his own right, dancing and, being the darling of the public eye. Then we follow a girl named Penelope, who is the daughter of this infamous criminal tycoon named Eli, and for her upcoming 19th birthday, she just wants one thing, and that is to have a private concert from this pop star, Winter. When this covert ops group called the Panacea learns about Eli's daughter's invitation to Winter, they approach Winter to see if he will help infiltrate Eli's criminal underworld for them. Winter agrees, and he is set up with a bodyguard, or a girl named Sydney, who is posing as his bodyguard. Sydney is a spy, obviously, and she seems to be the only one impervious to Winter's good looks and charm. As Sydney and Winter are forced to work closely together, feelings might start to develop as the two of them work towards becoming the heroes of this spy mission. It's been a while since I've read a Marie Lu book, and this is scheduled to be released on April 4th, 2023. The next book is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. This is her newest YA fantasy series, and believe it or not, I've never read an Alexandra Bracken book, so this will be hopefully my first delve into her as an author. In this book, we follow a girl named Tasman, and Tasman is a hollower, meaning that she has no magical ability whatsoever, and in order to provide for her and her brother after her thieving foster father disappeared, she ends up breaking into crypts and stealing treasures inside. 10 years after the disappearance of her foster father, there are rumors circulating that he had in his possession a relic, kind of like an Arthurian ring. Tamsin listens to these rumors and thinks that if she can retrieve the Arthurian ring from her foster father, that it will break a curse that has been infecting her brother for many years now. As word spreads of this powerful relic, Hollowers start seeking after this treasure, and our main character, Tamsin, is forced to work with her most ruthless adversary in order to uncover or recover this ring and see if it actually has these magical abilities. Silver in the Bone is expected to come out in April of 2023. Next, we have a YA mystery thriller called Four Found Dead by Natalie D. Richards. So this is not normally a book that I would have picked up last year or the year before, but I have been reading thrillers and really enjoying them. So I don't think I've ever read a YA thriller or something that's been labeled as such, but this sounds just exactly like what the cover says. Basically, it follows a character named Zhao, and she works in this mall that is slowly closing. As we know, brick and mortar stores and malls are, not as abundant and prosperous as they used to be. And even where I live, there's a couple that are abandoned. And there is this movie theater that the kids work at, and basically all of the shops are closing. So it's a pretty defunct building. On Joe's last shift, this stranger arrives, and as soon as this stranger arrives, chilling things start happening. Basically, the power goes out, the safe where all of the employees keep their phones and valuables is broken into, and everything's stolen. And then 4 of the coworkers are found dead. So Joe and a couple of her coworkers have to figure out who the murderer is and exactly who's going to be next. So it just seems like a thrilling murder type mystery with an abandoned theater setting, and it sounds spooky and fun, and I'm actually really looking forward to reading it. And For Found Dead is scheduled to be published in May of 2023. Next, we have The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew, and this one I was able to get signed by the author. We have some art in there, and then I did get her signature. She was there signing books, so I'm happy to have that. But in The Whispering Dark, we are following a main character named Delaney, and Delaney is deaf, and she's always been treated a little bit differently because of her disability, even though she doesn't want to let that hinder her. And she's very proud of herself when she is accepted into this upscale university that teaches students to slip between parallel worlds. So obviously Delaney has some sort of paranormal ability. Then we follow a character named Colton, and Colton had a near-death experience when he was 9 years old, and the person that saved him, ironically, was Delaney. And they cross paths again once more at this university, even though Colton was warned to stay away from Delaney. One day, Delaney and Colton are thrust into this mystery as a student at the university turns up dead, and they start investigating what's going on, and it has to do with these parallel worlds and these portals into these other worlds and this nameless enemy that might be coming from one of these other worlds. So this is definitely a portal fantasy that has disability rep in it, and this book is scheduled to be released in November 2022. I think it might already be out. Yes, this was published November 1st, 2022. So I do plan on picking this book up very soon because it sounds really, really good. It's an author I've never read before. It piques my interest, and I do want to try and get these books read for you guys before the release date. So this one I'm a little bit behind on, obviously. So very excited for this one also. Next, we have Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Amélie Zhao. In this book, we're following a character named Lan, and Lan lives in a kingdom that was conquered by these outside people, and they came in and they killed a lot of her people. They killed her mother, and they outlawed her people's magic. Now Lan works as a song girl, and she spends a lot of her free time trying to figure out what the burn mark on her arm left by her mother actually means, and kind of scavenging for clues to her people's past and possibly how to defeat these conquerors. Then we follow a character named Zen, and Zen is a practitioner, so she actually practices the magic that has been outlawed. Lan and Zen eventually come into contact with each other, and they meet, and immediately Zen recognizes Lan for what she is. She's a practitioner herself. As these two characters start to unravel exactly the power that they hold between them to relearn this lost magic, they must try and deal with the subjugation that's going on in their current country. Song Like Silver, Flame Like Night is scheduled to be released in January of 2023. The next book is Unseelie by Ivelisse Housman. Forgive me if I'm saying that name wrong. All I know about this book is that it follows 2 twin sisters, and they are both on this journey to find out different things about themselves. One is searching for treasure, and one is a changeling who is trying to learn about her origins and how she's able to have this ability. And these 2 sisters are on this journey, and that is all the synopsis says. So I'm sure there is more to this because that would be a fairly boring plot. So I'm assuming that there is some sort of conflict or some sort of thing that brings these 2 sisters together that they have to go up against. I don't really know, but this is a debut book and a debut author, and it is scheduled to be released in January 2023. The next book is Missing Clarissa by Ripley Jones. This is a YA mystery thriller. This book starts out with talking about a missing persons case from 1999 when this cheerleader named Clarissa was going to a party, disappeared into the woods, and then was never found, and no one was able to solve the case, so the case went cold. More than 20 years later, we are at the same high school that Clarissa attended, and there are 2 students that are doing this true crime podcast, and they decide to look into Clarissa's disappearance. And in their determination of unraveling what's happened to this young girl in 1999, they end up uncovering a lot of dark secrets about their small town and the truth of Clarissa's situation. So this is fairly, I feel like, short book for a thriller. I hope that it's very fast paced and that it has a lot of twists and turns and keeps me guessing. And Missing Clarissa comes out in March 2023. Next, we have Retro by Sophia Lapuente and Jarrod Shusterman. And this book, the synopsis is really short. It doesn't really tell me a lot what's going on, but just the brief synopsis that's there actually really gripped me. But it follows two characters that enter into this light competition to see who can live without technology for a year. But what starts off as this lighthearted competition turns into this like fight for survival. And that's all the synopsis says. And when I was reading it, I was like, that gives me Hunger Games vibe and Nerve, that book about social media vibes. And it immediately spoke to me. So this one I'm super curious about, especially because I don't really know all the details about how they go from no technology type of competition to like fight for survival. I'm just interested to see how the story fills out. Retro comes out in January 2023. Next, we have Kismet Connection, which is a YA romance by, hopefully I'm not butchering this name, Ananya Devarajan. And this book sounds really cute, but it follows a main character who follows her star chart and family legacy, which dictates that she will marry her first ever boyfriend. And in order to prove that she has free will and that fate cannot determine her romantic relationships, she decides to enter into a fake relationship with a boy she knows she'll never fall for, not knowing that this boy has been in love with her for years. So it just sounds like a cute romance that might be like friends to lovers type thing, and it's short and something I could see myself picking up when I'm in the mood for a lighthearted romance. And this book releases, I think it's June 2023. Next, I have Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson, and this is actually a continuation kind of thing from Sorcery of Thorns, which was one of her standalone YA books. And one of the issues that I had with this book, and I think a lot of people had with this book, is that the ending was very abrupt and it almost wasn't completely fulfilling. It didn't answer all of the questions, and I think Margaret Rogerson decided to publish this to add on to that ending to give her readers some sense of closure and satisfaction. That's kind of the way I understood it. I might be completely wrong, but this is a super short book. It's a novella type thing. I'm not really a fan of the size. Like, I feel like it should have been printed in like a normal book size because that's just gonna look really weird on my bookshelf. But I did want this because I was one of the people that, was disappointed with the ending, and it like lowered my rating a ton because of that. So I could definitely see myself reading this super quickly and just, being happy with the ending to that book finally. And Mysteries of Thorn Manor comes out in January 2023. And lastly, we have A Wilderness of Stars by Shea Ernshaw, and I'm currently reading this. I'm on page, I think 200, 197. So I'm about halfway through this, and this book, I don't really know how to describe the genre. I can't tell if it's fantasy because there's really no fantastical elements as of yet, but there are like post-apocalyptic feels, and I don't really know. I have to get into like the ending to let you guys know the actual genre of this, but it's an interesting premise. We follow a girl named Vega, and Vega is known as the last astronomer, and she has received like information from her mother and just generations of information about how to read the stars. And one day these two twin stars appear that are like this bad omen about things that are to come. So Vega sets off on this journey across this forsaken, post-apocalyptic United States type situation in order to find the architect, which is a guy that's supposed to help her save humankind, because all of the people currently still living are very, very ill and sick. And the last astronomer, once she sees that omen in the sky, is supposed to be able to go on this journey, find the cure, and save humanity. So that's essentially what we're doing, is we're following Vega, who has never like lived beyond this valley, has no experience with the world, as she is going on this journey and learning the truth about what's happening in the world and if she's able to save it. So it's interesting so far. I find it a very unique premise, and Shea Ernshaw is just drawing inspiration from a lot of different things, and that's all I can say so far, is that it's unique and I am enjoying it. So I do plan on doing a full review for this, and the release date is November 29th, 2022. Okay, you guys, that is it for the 10 advanced reader copies that I was able to snag at YALLFest. I cannot wait to read all of these. I am excited about every single one. Let me know in the comments which one of these books you're most excited for in 2023, or if you have read them already and what you thought of them. And I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.